lecturer is Dr. Hideki Yoshimoto, and he is from the Research Center for Advanced Science and Technology at the University of Tokyo. He is one of the most renowned young designers working globally and is based primarily in London. After graduating from the University of Tokyo's master's program in aeronautics and astronautics, he moved to London to pursue a PhD in innovative engineering design at the Royal College of Arts. While studying at the Royal College of Arts, he also founded a design and innovation company with his friend. His artworks are a fusion of design and technology, and by applying his engineering and technology skills and knowledge, he has promoted new ideas and lifestyle through his works. An award-winning designer, he has attracted the attention of many renowned clients. So, greetings, Dr. Yoshimoto. First, could you please tell us about your career?
Yes, thank you, Rachel. As you just introduced, I started my study at this University of Tokyo, where I was studying aeronautics, aerospace engineering. And then, well, the reason why I chose that department was that because I wanted to become an airline pilot, actually. But I couldn't make that dream happen. But anyway, I was kind of more interested in how we could almost use airplanes or aircraft in a kind of various ways in this society. So I kind of started to looking into the role of aircraft in the entertainment industry, rather than just inventing a technology for the making of aircraft.
Yes.
So that is kind of start of my sort of bridging my technical skills or technical knowledge with entertainment or creative or artistic or design or that kind of field. So, and then I really liked it. I really kind of saw into it. So that's why after completing my master's degree in that department, I chose to move my my theme from aerospace engineering to design, and then I moved to London to study that in a more depth. I chose Royal College of Art. Spent 5-6 years there for my PhD, and then after completion of my PhD, I started a company there, and it's been 6 years since then.
Was there a moment where you're going through this transition from engineering to kind of a design and then a fusion of it? Did anybody ever say, no, you can't do it?
Nobody said that, but when you really did it, when I did it, I thought it would be not that difficult, because I was even in aerospace engineering department. I was already doing some kind of creative performances, or I was already studying that kind of fusion of technology and art. So I thought, I can probably do it. But then I was in a completely different environment, which is different country, and art school, which is almost an opposite culture from engineering school. And then, in fact, I was really struggling because of the gap or because of the difference. But kind of gradually, I learned, and then I could adapt myself into the new culture, and
All right. So then you're going through this process of basically creating a new way of doing things. where do you find inspiration, or how do you start the creative process?
In a bigger sense, I mean, in terms of career, I was kind of trying to make a new challenge. I was at NI, and then I moved myself, to a new location, a new culture, and then started a new thing, and then founded a company. So in a bigger sense, when I tried to do this kind of new challenges by myself, it's always so great influence by other people. It was the most kind of important thing. So even when I was a student here, aerospace engineering, the first moment where I realized I was interested in such kind of connection of art and technology, there was one person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was one person, like in the same lab, kind of senior student, and he was really interested in that kind of area, and then he showed me some examples, and he showed me what's happening in the world in that kind of domain, and then that made me really so interested in that kind of things.
Okay.
So it's kind of always like that. I met people, and then I knew the world which I didn't know, and then this was so cool, and I wanted to do this myself.
Okay.
So yes, it's in terms of talking about my career. I think that's the simple answer. When I make things so more practical level, when I create objects or I design something, I think it's of course I try to find inspirations from external world, like nature. Japanese people love nature, and so am I. So I tend to find inspiration from nature, but also it's kind of like it's kind of expression of myself. It has to be expression of myself. So it's coming from experience, personal experience, I think.
Okay, so a lot of your work is inspired by personal experiences and the things you encounter.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So leading on to that, could you please tell us about
Sure.
some of those works and your philosophy behind them?
Sure. Yeah, I brought some examples today. Maybe I can show it in the slides. This is sort of like a concept sketch of one of my work, which is called inaho. Inaho is a Japanese word of rice paddy field.
Okay.
And so I was imagining that kind of plant-like object sway, almost like rice paddy sway.
Yeah, in the wind during the summer.
This is a quick video of that.
Oh yeah, that's...
So when people walk by, it has a human detection sensor in the base. So the system detects the presence of people, and then it starts sway, like gently, and then light comes up, and then when the human passes by, it stops lighting and then stops movement. So it's quite natural, organic, and it doesn't feel like anything like tech, But when you open the lid of the base, it's kind of microcomputer, and it's full of electronics, and the system making the stem sway. So
I liked the natural way that the lights didn't just turn off all at once, but slowly.
Yeah, fading.
Yeah.
So it's like this. it's a combination of stainless steel, brass, aluminum, carbon fiber, and plastic, many different materials, and we make, of course, software as well, in a microcomputer to control the movement digitally. This is another video to show the beautiful shadow, like projection casted from the LED part.
So you planned when you were producing this work, you also thought ahead to how the lights would show on walls and on ceilings? I noticed in the last video that it would shine on the walls.
Yeah.
So was that all planned?
Yeah, of course. We do a lot of experiments because different shapes or different materials makes completely different effect. So we try like 20 options and then that picks up the most beautiful one.
Yeah, that's definitely the science part. You keep trying and then going back to your original idea.
It's not limited to science. Design is full of that. Trials and errors.
Okay, trial and error.
And this is we shot this in Tuscany in Italy. It's kind of nice. I love this picture.
It's crazy how it's like you took the rice paddy from outside. Then you could put it in the building, and now you're back outside. But it's technology and again the nature together.
This is completely a different thing, but it's another example from I started playing with this idea when I was a Royal Cultural student. It's funny. It's honey, real actual honey. From supermarket. like bees make honey. So,
wow.
And so the honey is contained in this ceramic bowl, and I floated another layer of liquid, which is silicone oil dyed in black. Okay. And then it's got an air pump, tiny air pump, and then an LED, so that it makes this bubble. It's just such a simple thing. I made this with no reason. What is the function of it? Nothing. It's kind of this bubble phenomenon was really, or behavior of that is really kind of interesting or beautiful. So I wanted to explore that, and then wanted to make it into a beautiful piece of art. And so it was kind of prototyping at that time, and then but because I liked it so much, I wanted to continue developing it into more kind of, how to say, sophisticated versions. So now I'm still actually like it's been like 7 years since my first trial, and then I'm still playing with this bubble effect. Now it's not actual honey. The chemistry company makes like a special liquid for me. But anyway, I tried this kind of ceramic and the glass combinations of both and some different colors and materials. I was interested in I'd say plural version, a bigger version where bubbles come to synchronize and that kind of effect. I made it a table with legs and glass tabletop. This is my colleague and my company shaping this table by hand actually. So it's almost it's literally a piece of art, even if we call it a table. And this is the latest version, which we made 2 years ago. I love this. It's almost like a spaceship, like jet black, black. It's another coffee table.
Okay.
So like a low table where the bubble effect is contained.
Okay.
Underneath the tabletop. With this kind of image. This is the last example which I showed today. Is in this case it was a client work. It's a car automotive parts manufacturer. So they are making like various different parts for a car.
Okay.
And this installation was made for Milan Design Festival, Milan Design Week. That was 2017, I think. So we discussed. I mean, my client said that we want to show a future car, the image of a car in the future, and then they said in the future the car will be more friendly to people, more kind of more like a partner or a driver, or like people who are in the car.
Okay.
And so my job was communicating that idea more in an artistic way, and then the way people can kind of feel easily. And my idea is this is almost like a full-scale car sculpture. And we kind of wrapped it with cotton threads, like white cotton threads.
Okay.
The concept I proposed at that time was cocoon, like a silkworm cocoon.
Yeah.
The reason why I chose that was that, when you pick up like silk cocoon, it looks fluffy and light, very clean and soft.
Yeah.
So, but it's actually really, really strong, because the insect inside, the insect inside, when it's it called Papua? Papua, yeah. So when it's a Papua state or condition or phase, it's basically very weak.
Yeah. It's vulnerable to everything around it. It can't protect itself.
Yeah. So silkworm cocoon is protecting the very weak thing from anything from external. So I think it can be a nice poetic analogy of the future car. The future car is like a very friendly, very soft, kind of like really light, nice, but it's protecting you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the role of a car, even if a car is changing so much at the moment. And so we made that kind of sculpture. This is a few pictures from the behind the scene pictures. We of course designed this concept, but also designed this frame, and then the kind of egg-shaped display was completely bespoke for this installation. So myself developed the electronics and the LED boards to compose this kind of special LED display, and that's from mathematics level, and design it, and we showed real-time animation around this LED display. We needed to make 11 software programs, which is running in parallel to control this kind of special display, and then we coded the software from scratch, everything. So it's kind of it looks beautiful. It looks like nice artistic sculpture, but behind that was like full of technology and
there was a lot of work that went into this.
That's a view of the inside of the display. I like this picture. It's almost like spaceship.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it looks like you're inside the spacecraft. And there's all the buttons and the dials.
So I think that tells you quick image of what I'm doing, I think.
I can definitely see that fusion of the arts and designing, trying to be in touch with nature and society, but also infusing the technology and like all the coding and all the different trial and error that you have to do. I mean, usually it seems that nature, like anything can happen at any moment and there's no plan to it, but in this there has to be some sort of plan and you have to go back and change things for sure. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Then up until like when you started as a student till now you're back as a teacher. Obviously you explained a little bit earlier about how that transition from the engineering to the design from Japan to London, those were some of the difficulties you faced. What would you consider the number one most difficult, or the one thing that constantly stands in your way?
I think the most important thing is what to do. And what I mean is, whether or not you are, whether you are engineer or designer or artist or craftsman or businessman or whatever, or whether you are in Japan or in UK or completely different country, or it matters, but essentially it doesn't matter, because you want to do this and you want to create this, and if you want to create this, and then if you have to create that, you have to do everything which is needed for this. And that's always what I've been that's the mode I am in. So I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but so yes, you said I came back to Japan, and I'm still running my business in London, and so I'm doing two things in parallel. And it's I can do a new challenge here in this university setting, and that's a new world, and I think I will need to bring new things, I need to learn new things, I need to bring new people, and I may have to make a new team here, but I will do it because I want to do it.
So, kind of on the subject of research, high school students engage in research projects as part of their school curriculum. Could you give them any advice on kind of how to even start or how to proceed through the process?
Yeah. Well, I think, as I said for many times, the unique idea is that, that's the most important thing. But it's not easy at all. And then where to start getting that idea? Before thinking about idea, I think maybe students have to think about a kind of theme or like area of the research, and then it's another difficult thing because many people, even adults, not just students, many people don't know what they really want to do. What am I most interested in? What's the area which I really I'm excited about? But not many people know it. But you cannot do, even if you think like this for 10 days, you cannot get to that point. So I think you have to start something, and even though you are not really kind of confident, it can be, I think it's a great way is gonna be to start with hobby, for example, if you have one. It can be sport, it can be music, it can be cooking or books, or if you are super good at playing video game, or it can be video game, whatever, or like your parents your parents' work, or your families. If your brother or sister are doing something in university, maybe you can get some inspiration from that. Whatever. But you can start something nearby around you, and then it doesn't need to look great. It doesn't need to look brilliant. But maybe if you look at that and then try thinking what you can think about, what can be your unique idea. You can start very small. So you don't need to be dreaming about some idea which changes this world. You cannot do it. So you can start thinking about very small thing, but think that you make something unique to you.
Okay.
Don't copy somebody. Just thinking about something which your idea. I think that's the most important thing.
All right, thank you. About your startup, your company, I'd like to ask a couple questions.
Yes.
First being, why did you choose to establish your own company instead of joining an already established, possibly well-known, famous company?
Well, simply, I wanted to continue exploring my own idea, and pretty much that's it. That I wanted to have full control, and
So then, rather starting at the top, you preferred to start from the bottom with the freedom that it allowed you.
Yeah, freedom is the right word.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then my second question is, what advice would you give to students who dream of starting a company overseas?
Well, I mean, overseas, it's not easy. It's tough. But if you want to do it, and you will get stuck many times, and you need to be helped by many other people, and you have to humble. You have to be. You have to stay humble, and you have to realize that you cannot do everything by yourself, but basically make a challenge.
All right. Today we were able to learn a lot about your philosophy and design process. For everyone watching, what kind of follow-up activity or task would you give them to try?
Yes, I would say perhaps design a logo for Tokyo. That's the kind of suggestion from me. I think this activity is, I'm a student based in Tokyo, so you know the city, but everyone is looking at this kind of complex city from a different lens. So think about it, and then think unique idea to represent this city and make a logo of it. But it's just not just a random sketch of it, but you have to explain why you chose that design, and then that's the activity of design, basically.
Okay. So, did you hear that, everyone? Got any ideas? Today we learned about the possibilities created by the integration of art and science through your fabulous stories, your amazing artworks. And even, you mentioned earlier that even if you aren't interested in the fields of engineering or art, it's still applicable. Like, even if you're into sports or video games, it's possible to take what we've talked about and apply it to your own life, your own situation. Maybe not everything, but there's probably something. So take a look, take some time to think about it, and like the professor was saying, keep trying, come up with many ideas. So thank you very much, and see you again.